Hi boys and girls, I'm going to show you a different way to construct and design in SketchUp. So remember SketchUp 2017 icon on your desktop, double click on it, and we're going to wait for it to load. The template that we want to use is woodworking inches. I'm going to click start using SketchUp. And again, wait for it to load. There we go. Sometimes it's a little slow. Okay, so remember we have our axes. So we have our blue line, which is our y-axis, our red line, which is our x-axis, and the green line, which is our z-axis. So the first thing I'm going to show you is something called the additive method. So I'm going to grab my rectangle, and I'm going to start at the origin. I'm going to draw a square, and I'm going to look for that diagonal line just so I know that the square is even. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my push-pull tool. I'm going to select it and then pull it up. Okay, so now I have my shape. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my square again, and I'm going to draw a square on top of my square. So you can see that I have my square that I initially drew, and then I have this new square that I drew. What I'm now going to do is grab the push-pull tool again and pull it up. Pull that square up that I drew, and I'm going to zoom out so you can see what I did. Okay, so this is the additive method. I'm adding to what I've already drawn. Now let's say I want to draw a square that's coming out of this side. So I'm going to look for, and I'm going to zoom in so you can kind of see. So when I was drawing up here, the squares were blue. On this side, I'm going to make sure that they're green because what I'm doing is I am going to be pulling out on the z-axis. And remember, the z-axis is green. So I'm going to click on where it says endpoint, and I'm going to click and drag and click again. So now you can see the square that I drew on this side, and I can grab my push-pull tool and I can pull it out this way. So now what I did was instead of just drawing a plain square, I was able to add onto my additional shape. And this may help you when you're creating your whatever design that you're doing. Maybe it's a funky looking house or a resort or a car dealership or whatever it is that you're designing. Now it doesn't need to just be a four-sided square. So now you can create new shapes. Okay, so that was the additive method. Now what I'm going to do is show you the subtractive method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo what I just did. And to undo, I can do Control Z, which is hitting the Control button or the CTRL button, and the Z key, which completely undoes what you've done. Or what you can do is click on the Select tool, highlight what you've done, and then hit the delete key. Okay, so I'm going to start with my square again. And I always start at the origin. I just think it makes it easier when we're creating. Pull it up. I'm going to zoom out by using the wheel on my mouse and pulling it towards me. And I'm also going to use my hand tool to pan because it's getting a little off the screen. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my square and I'm going to draw another square. And this kind of looks exactly like what I did with my additive method. However, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to push it down. Now, what I've done is I pushed it down, whoops, and you may not be able to see what I've done. So I'm going to use my orbit tool and orbit around so you can see that what I did was I took away from my shape. So I can do it again on this side. I'm going to grab my square tool, come over here, and notice that now my square is red, and the reason it's red is because now I'm working with the x-axis. So I'm going to click, push, pull, and I'm going to take away over here. And I can orbit around, and there you go. So you just learned the additive method, which was adding to your initial shape, and the subtractive method, which was taking away from your initial shape. Make sure that you're practicing these two specific ways to construct. It'll help you in the future with our projects. Have fun.